The following program deals with military and veteran issues. All comments and opinions expressed on this show are those who made them. They do not reflect the opinions of the Church of Satan or Radio Free Satan. So on with the show.
Welcome to the official Infernal Legion podcast. I am your host, Warlock Jeff Bowling, the commander of the Infernal Legion. It's been a bit since last we spoke. Let me assure you that the Infernal Legion is still kicking ass, taking names, and helping vets. That is, after all, what we do. And on that note, this episode is a celebration of Veterans Day 2022. Before we get into our celebration, a couple of quick housekeeping notes. Be sure to follow the Infernal Legion on social media. We are on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. We have a group on MeWe. We have a presence on Parler, on Gab, and more social media coming down the pike. In the meantime, I have received your messages and your emails. I know that the website is down. Our team is working on it. It's a server issue, but it should be up in no time, and we'll be sure to announce it on all of those social media platforms. So be sure to follow the Infernal Legion all across social media. I also want to take this opportunity to recognize our sponsors for this show, beginning with the Warlock Emporium. The Warlock Emporium is creating bespoke items for the chosen few. They are the only authorized seller of merchandise bearing the Warlock Sigil designed by Magister Dr. Robert Johnson, the author of the Satanic Warlock. The Warlock Emporium is now offering a 15% military discount. So visit their website, thewarlockemporium.com, for more information. Underworld Amusements. Underworld Amusements is creating, publishing, and selling curious sundries and callous broadsides. Underworld Amusements is your source for those books that your teachers don't want you to read and Amazon does not want you to buy. Visit underworldamusements.com for more information. And while you're reading books, be sure to pick up your copy of We Are Satanists, The History and Future of the Church of Satan, by Magistra Templi Rex Blanche Barton. We Are Satanists is the long-awaited follow-up to The Church of Satan, published in the early 90s, that we have all been waiting for. Tome is a perfect word to describe We Are Satanists. This gigantic brick of a book is full of all kinds of information concerning the early days of the Church of Satan, the death of Anton Szandor LaVey, and when Peter H. Gilmore took over as the High Priest. It also details what members of the Church of Satan are doing at this moment in time and what the Church of Satan will look like in the future. So make sure you pick up your copy of We Are Satanists by Magistra Templi Rex Blanche Barton. It is available on Amazon and on satanme.com. Radio Free Satan, the home of the official Infernal Legion podcast. Radio Free Satan is your source for satanic podcasts offering the best in music, culture, commentary, comedy, and much, much more. Visit RadioFreeSatan.com for more information and listen to your favorite Radio Free Satan shows anywhere podcasts are available. And of course, thank you, Radio Free Satan, for hosting the official Infernal Legion podcast. And finally, Duffel Blog. Duffel Blog is the #1 most trusted military fake news site in the world. If you want military parody from veterans who actually served in the military, visit duffelblog.com today. Alright, now that all of that is out of the way, I want to kick off this little shindig with a special message from Magus Peter H. Gilmore. Magus Gilmore is the author of the Satanic Scriptures. He is an honorary member of the Infernal Legion, and he is the High Priest of the Church of Satan. Magus Gilmore has been entirely supportive since the inception of the Infernal Legion, and we are very proud to offer this exclusive message to our membership from Peter H. Gilmore.
On this Veterans Day, we here at Central honor those who have served in our nation's armed forces. You have our gratitude and admiration for all you've done to maintain the precious privilege of liberty. Your gifts to us merit our abiding recognition for preserving the freedoms we all enjoy as we pursue our vital existence. A horned salute to you, who are Legion. Hail to our veterans! Shamham Porash! Hail Satan!
Hail Satan indeed. And once again, thank you to Magus Peter H. Gilmore for that special and exclusive message for the membership of the Infernal Legion on this Veterans Day. In 1921, an unknown World War I American soldier was buried in Arlington National Cemetery. This site, on a hillside overlooking the Potomac River and the city of Washington, D.C., became the focal point of reverence for America's veterans. Similar ceremonies occurred earlier in England and France, where an unknown soldier was buried in each nation's highest place of honor. These memorial gestures all took place on 11 November, giving universal recognition to the celebrated ending of World War I fighting at 11 a.m., 11 November 1918, or the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. The day became known as Armistice Day. Armistice Day officially received its name in America in 1926 through a congressional resolution. It became a national holiday 12 years later by similar congressional action. If the idealistic hope had been realized that World War I was the war to end all wars, 11 November might still be called Armistice Day. But only a few years after the holiday was proclaimed, war yet again broke out in Europe. 16.5 million Americans took part. 407,000 of them died in service, more than 292,000 in battle. In response, Armistice Day was changed to honor all veterans. The first celebration using the term Veterans Day occurred in Birmingham, Alabama in 1947. Raymond Weeks, a World War II veteran, organized National Veterans Day, which included a parade and other festivities to honor all veterans. The event was held on 11 November, then designated as Armistice Day. Later, U.S. Representative Edward Reese of Kansas proposed a bill that would change Armistice Day to Veterans Day officially. In 1954, Congress passed the bill that President Eisenhower signed proclaiming 11 November as Veterans Day. Raymond Weeks received the Presidential Citizens Medal from President Reagan in November 1982. Weeks's local parade and ceremonies are now an annual event celebrated nationwide. On Memorial Day, 1958, 2 more unidentified American war dead were brought from overseas and interred in the plaza beside the unknown soldier of World War I. One was killed in World War II, the other in the Korean War. In 1984, an unknown serviceman from the Vietnam War was placed alongside the others. The remains from Vietnam were exhumed on May 14, 1998, and identified as Air Force First Lieutenant Michael Joseph Blassie, and were then removed for burial. To honor these men, symbolic of all Americans who gave their lives in all wars, an Army Honor Guard, the 3rd U.S. Infantry, also known as the Old Guard, keeps day and night vigil. A law passed in 1968 changed the national commemoration of Veterans Day to the 4th Monday in October. It soon became apparent, however, that 11 November was a date of historic significance to many Americans. Therefore, in 1978, Congress returned the observance to its traditional date. The focal point for official national ceremonies for Veterans Day continues to be the Memorial Amphitheater built around the Tomb of the Unknowns. At 11 a.m. on 11 November, a combined color guard representing all military services executes present arms at the tomb. The nation's tribute to its war dead is symbolized by the laying of a presidential wreath. The bugler plays taps. The rest of the ceremony takes place in the amphitheater. Veterans Day ceremonies at Arlington and elsewhere are coordinated by the President's Veterans Day National Committee, chaired by the Secretary of Veterans Affairs. The committee represents national veterans organizations, including the Infernal Legion. Governors of many states and U.S. territories appoint Veterans Day chairpersons who, in cooperation with the National Committee and the Department of Defense, arrange and promote local ceremonies. That was a piece with a few small adjustments from yours truly, entitled Celebrating America's Freedoms, The Origins of Veterans Day. It can be found at va.gov/vetsday. And we'll be right back on the official Infernal Legion podcast after this message from Radio Free Satan.
Take a trip back to the 1980s with me, Warlock Jeff Ivins, on the Metro, Radio Free Satan's show highlighting the new wave and other hits from the indulgent decade, only on RadioFreeSatan.com.
In 1966, Anton LaVey created the Church of Satan, marking the beginning of the Age of Fire and Year One Anno Satanas. In 1969, he published the Satanic Bible, codifying Satanism as a religion, the first time it's been done in human history.
In the name of Satan, ruler of the earth, king of hell, come forth from the pit, bestow the blessings of hell upon us. For we are your children, and we invoke thee this night.
In 2001, I was appointed High Priest of the Church of Satan. In 2007, I published the Satanic Scriptures, further defining and expanding on satanic philosophy and greater magic ritual.
Hail, Satan full of might! Hail, Satan full of might! Our allegiance is with thee! Our allegiance is with thee! Cursed are they! Cursed are they! The God adorers! The God adorers! And cursed are the worshippers! And cursed are the worshippers! Of the Nazarene eunuch! Of the Nazarene eunuch!
For the past 50 years, the Church of Satan has stood as the sole organization to define and defend Satanism as a religion. And though pretenders to the infernal throne have come and gone, we have stood the test of time and will into the future. Visit churchofsatan.com for more information and read the Satanic Bible and the Satanic Scriptures. Knowledge is the solution for ignorance. Hail, Satan!
Hail, Satan! Hail, Satan!
Attention iTunes users, if you like this show and other programs from Radio Free Satan, then please take a moment to look us up on iTunes to rate and comment on the program. You can also do the same on Stitcher.com. Look up this program on Stitcher.com, rate it, and give us a review. And that's if you like the show, of course, that you want to give it 5 stars and a good review, not, give it 1 star and say a bunch of mean things. But hey, if you want to do that, then I'm sure there are a bunch of Christian podcasts on iTunes that you could do that on. Anyway, thank you for your support of RadioFreeSatan.com, and now back to the program.
And welcome back to the official Infernal Legion podcast, the Veterans Day 2022 episode. Now, we talked in the last segment about the history and some of the ceremonies behind Veterans Day. So I want to take a moment to talk about modern ceremonies behind Veterans Day. Obviously, every veteran has their own way of celebrating this holiday. Some will go out to the graveyard and lay coins or flowers or flags on fellow vets' graves. Some will get together with their fellow vets or family, or both, and drink and celebrate and have a little barbecue. And still others will participate with their local veteran service organizations doing other types of ceremonies, some of which were alluded to in that last segment. I'm one of those who does a little combination of all of these things, but I've been fortunate enough, since I live in this area now, that I have had the opportunity officially as a member and as the commander of the Infernal Legion to join with area veteran service organizations such as the American Legion, the Veterans of Foreign Wars, AMVETS, and so on. And together we all go to the Veterans Memorial here locally, and we do a ceremony every Veterans Day at 11 a.m. And it's really kind of fun because it's a somber ceremony, and we're all taking place in it, and our picture usually ends up in the paper and things of that nature. But there I am in my Infernal Legion officer t-shirt with my kilt on next to all these people in their official VFW wear and their official American Legion wear. And even the local recruiter's office will send out active duty soldiers along with the National Guard who are in uniform. So it's a nice representation for all of us. But there is an almost unspoken ritual that I think almost all vets participate in when it comes to Veterans Day, and that is all the sweet discounts that are offered by local and national businesses. Now, don't pretend that you don't know what I'm talking about. You've all seen the lines outside of Applebee's that are stretched around the block, or Denny's, or Dunkin' Donuts, or any number of other businesses, and it's true. Many, many businesses, especially national businesses, offer some pretty good discounts when it comes to Veterans Day. For example, I know that Applebee's offers a free meal from a select menu as long as you can show proof that you're a veteran or active military member. Denny's offers a very similar setup. Dunkin', I believe, offers a free donut before 11 a.m. And the list goes on and on and on. Most of these are food, but there's also discounts from mechanic shops on car repairs. There's discounts on big box department stores will offer sometimes a 10 to 20% discount on total purchase. Of course, all of the online retailers usually offer something. A full list of these discounts, at least the national ones, can be found at news.va.gov. They've uploaded a pretty exhaustive list of the national chains that are offering discounts and free meals and things of that nature on Veterans Day. So be sure to go and check that out. And of course, I'm never going to dissuade anyone from taking advantage of this. I do it myself. Get out there. If you're a vet, you earned it. You earned that free entree. You earned that whatever. But keep in mind, some vets can get a little, let's say, unprofessional once they're out on Veterans Day dealing with this. And I understand that it can be a bit of a bore sitting in line for maybe an hour or more waiting to get into a restaurant or something like that. That's just a testament to how many veterans there are in the United States. Remember to never take that out on the staff at these businesses who have been generous enough to offer us a discount. Because while I do say and believe that we've earned that discount if they choose to provide it, they don't have to provide it. The fact that they are is showing their commitment as a company, as a business, as an organization to supporting and thanking veterans for their service. So if you're going to go and take advantage of all of these awesome discounts and deals, make sure you bring enough money to tip your server. Make sure you're kind and polite to all of the people who work at these businesses that you run into. And if you're bringing a family member with you, don't expect the family member to get the same deal that you're going to get. They're not a vet. You are. As I said, you can find a full list of all the companies that are offering those discounts at news.va.gov. All right, so another tradition on this Veterans Day podcast that we do for the Infernal Legion is that we like to have members who are willing record special pieces, shout outs to fellow veterans, to the organization, to the Church of Satan. These are all members, they're all legionnaires in our organization. They will record these pieces and send them in, and we will play them as part of the podcast. And that's what we're going to do right now. I'm going to turn it over to the membership of the Infernal Legion and let them tell you in their own words what being a veteran means to them and why this holiday specifically is so important. So here are the members of the Infernal Legion.
Infernal greetings. JLH here. We Satanists are a special breed of our species. We understand there is no life eternal. We live in the here and now. We believe in vital existence and only seek that which gives us earthly pleasure and reward. Satanic veterans are the elite amongst our kind. They understand that only vital existence will bring true joy, and they choose to serve others for a very carnal good. Our veterans did not join to serve an office or some weak religion. They joined to serve a cause, because freedom for all is better than oppression for all. The right to choose is better than living as a slave. Every man and woman who wishes to be exalted should have a right to fight. Hail the Church of Satan. Hail the United States of America. And hail the men and women who choose to fight for what they believe is right. Happy Veterans Day.
Hello, everybody. This is Reverend Jimmy Psycho, veteran of the United States Army. I just want to take a moment to thank all veterans, past, present, and future, for your service and commitment to our country. It's always appreciated and never taken for granted. I wish you all well in the coming year. Many thanks, many hails, and ever forward.
Greetings, my fellow veterans. This is Satanist Raul Atondo, co-founder and director of special activities of the Infernal Legion. I am also an Eagle leader and veteran engagement coordinator with Team Red, White, and Blue, a trustee with VFW Post 1763, and a volunteer mentor and veteran peer support recovery specialist with Veterans Treatment Court here out of Yuma, Arizona. Learn to advocate for yourself. Learn and understand your resources. All of you have an armory full of them in different shapes and sizes. They all have power. They all pack power. There are many agencies and organizations willing to help you out if you simply knock on their doors. Most of you have health benefits and monetary compensations that you are simply unaware of. Utilize these benefits and make your life a little bit more easier and fulfilling. Don't leave money on the table, brothers and sisters. Help yourself and help your family. It is also the 5th year anniversary of the Infernal Legion, and I'm very proud and honored to have co-created this organization with my friend and veteran, Warlock Jeff Bowling. Ave Satanas, hail veterans, and hail Satan. Happy Veterans Day.
Hey, this is retired Sergeant First Class Dave Bradford, and I just wanted to give a shout out to my brothers and sisters in arms and say thank you for the sacrifices that you made in your time of service. Hail yourselves and hail Satan.
My name is Warlock Rick Kohlmeyer. I am the Vice Commander of the Infernal Legion. I was asked what Veterans Day means to me. Well, Veterans Day means a lot of things. Historically, it celebrates the end of World War I, originally known as Armistice Day. But it means a lot more than that, especially to veterans. The camaraderie that is felt between brothers and sisters when they graduate boot camp, when they are serving at duty stations, when they are doing anything in the military, is unlike any other friendship or relationship you'll ever experience. The sacrifices made by so many veterans that have gone ahead of us to pave the way for the military that we have today is more than can be expressed. I didn't go into the military for the same reasons that some others did. I didn't go in to get the relationship with my fellow military folk. I'd originally gone in for a paycheck, but I was very quickly shown that there is much more to the military than pay. When you're in the military, you know that you always have a team that has your back. You know that you're part of a team that has somebody else's back. No matter where you are in the military, no matter where you're stationed, no matter where you serve, we're all connected. We all come back to the United States. This is where our commands come from. This is where our leaders are. This is where we are all from. I was pretty aggravated when I got my first duty station because my sea school got canceled. I was supposed to go submarines, but I ended up being part of a BRAC transfer from Millington, Tennessee down to Pensacola, Florida. I remember I was pretty pissed off because I was the first and only yeoman down in Naval Air Technical Training Center, Pensacola, for many months. The only other contact I had with yeomans were the chief and the head of petty officer up in Millington, Tennessee. It wasn't until they finally moved the command down there and I watched what it became that I felt like I was part of a huge team. Before that, I just felt like a guy who was stuck with a bunch of air traffic controllers and ET nukes bored out of his skull 10 and 12 hours a day. I am very thankful for the lessons that the military gave me. I am very thankful for the feeling of team and the kinship that's felt with my brothers and sisters. I'm very thankful for the training. I'm very thankful for many aspects of my military training. I'm also very thankful to have been part of the Infernal Legion. I have been with it since the beginning, and I'm proud to serve next to the men that I serve with every day for the Infernal Legion. I'm very thankful that this organization exists because until now, Satanists in the military did not have a voice, but now they do. I'd like to wish a happy Veterans Day to all my fellow veterans and all my military folk, and I'd like to thank you all for your service.
To many Americans, Veterans Day is yet one more day to celebrate commercialism and consumption. Consumption of durable goods with set lifespans, both manufactured and obsolete through upgrade. It's a day to get a percentage off on furniture or electronics. Perhaps even a free meal if you happen to be a family member of a veteran and spend your day with them, not in honor of their sacrifices, but to score a few morsels that you in all probability do not need. Veterans Day to many is the only time they even think about American soldiers. And for what? A fleeting moment? Soldiers are typically from lower to middle class households where military service is one of only a small handful of options for advancement and education. These are the Americans that are doing the fighting and dying on your behalf, and you spend less than a single day acknowledging them. Sure, you may change your social media profile picture for the day or tell a small handful of veterans that are in your social circles, thank you. But is that enough? Is that the total value you place on your safety and security? A thank you for your service? Then you're on your way. Veterans are not your social media influencers, nor do they want to be put on a pedestal. They aren't pounding at your door asking for your time and attention, but you owe everything that you have to them. The reason that you don't have drones firing missiles at you and your neighbors is because of their sacrifices. The reason why we don't have regular terrorist attacks is because of their service. The reason that you don't have to stand up for your own country and fight for your own rights is because there are others that do it. Those same others you protest against when you disagree with their politics. Those same others that you try your best for at least the duration of a few posts in social media to cancel if they happen to say anything at any time in their entire lives that you happen to not agree with. Warlock Jeff Bowling raised the idea to me that we have a warrior class in our American culture, and it seems that we do. They're called Americans, citizens who take their futures and the future of their fellow citizens into their hands. They train, fight, suffer, and die so that you can sit on your ass, binge a few more episodes, and order dinner to be delivered for a modest fee. They understand what sacrifice means deep in the marrow of their bones, while you worry about the lack of attention your comment or photo received. Veterans know what it means to appreciate what they have because they have to live without it. Veterans know what it means to love and respect because they've lost their brothers and sisters in arms whom they loved and respected. So before you jump to make your post celebrating veterans, before you tell someone, thank you for your service, ask yourself this. Do you deserve the right to be acknowledged by these men and women of substance? Does a sheep thank its shepherd? Do they thank the guard dogs that keep them safe from the coyote? If you have never served your country, do you deserve the right to be called a citizen by it? Unfortunately, the answer continues to be yes. So make yourself feel better for acknowledging those of real substance for a day. Feel good about your pathetic leech-life existence for another 12 waking hours. But perhaps you could do just a little more. Perhaps you could acknowledge veterans not with a post or a thank you, but by your service. There are a number of ways you can actually serve those who have your back, both active and prior service veterans. You could, at the minimum, donate to veterans organizations, but more appropriately, you could donate your time and attention to veterans in need. There are a number of organizations that you could assist in providing food, shelter, healthcare, and company. It takes only a cursory search to find an organization near you. This is not to say that you need to give of yourself because of some greater good or a debt the society is expecting of you. This is for your own benefit. It doesn't take a leap in logic to understand that ensuring those that protect you have support actually helps you in the long run. It also shows that you aren't the leech that so many others are. Give yourself a reason to look in your own reflection with pride and respect. Show that you are thankful before you say it. To my brothers and sisters in arms, to the Infernal Legion, and to its leadership, I see you. I thank you. Hail Satan.
Hello everyone, this is Blanche Barton, and I just want to thank all of our members out there for their service. You know, we've always had military people in the organization, going all the way back to the beginning to our founding members, including Mr. Olson, who was our first satanic funeral, and his widow insisted that he would want a satanic funeral. And we've always had Satanists in the military, I think because of our strong sense of justice and service. And I just appreciate so much that Satanists apply the philosophy in that way. I think it's very appropriate. And I just appreciate you being out there very, very much. And thank you. And hail Satan.
And we are back on the official Infernal Legion podcast. Thank you to everyone who submitted a special message for Veterans Day And of course, a special thank you to Magistra Blanche Barton for her continued support of the Infernal Legion. So one note on the history of Veterans Day that I forgot to mention earlier was the foundation of the Infernal Legion. I've told this story numerous times. It all started back around August of 2017. Might have actually been July of 2017. I was in Las Vegas visiting a friend, a Church of Satan member, for an engagement party, and I officially met Satanist Raul Atondo, who you heard earlier in the messages from our membership. He and I got to talking, got to drinking, got to wandering around downtown Las Vegas at about 3 o'clock in the morning. And we came up with this idea for what we were going to do together as a sort of way to promote veterans who were doing things within the Church of Satan, promoting their artwork, promoting their music, so on and so forth. After I got back home, and Raul and I talked about it a little bit more, we decided that we actually needed to go all in and form a veterans service organization. And so, on 11 November at 11 a.m., the Infernal Legion was officially born. And here we are today, 6 years later, still going strong. So many thank you to Raul Atondo, the Director of Special Activities for the Infernal Legion, to my fellow officers of the Infernal Legion, and of course to the members of the Infernal Legion. And once again, I can't say it enough, thank you to the leadership of the Church of Satan for embracing this project and for supporting what we're doing. Now that's about going to do it for this episode, and I realize it was kind of a short one. I'm sure you've heard that I was going it alone here. Yet again, I was going alone. But that's all right. We are getting back to a normal schedule. We'll be back with another episode next month. We're going to go back to monthly episodes alternating between Sinister Scuttlebutt, where we give you all the military news that you need to know, and Wicked Warrior of the Month, where we interview a special usually new member of the Infernal Legion and let you know their life story and their military history. I want to eventually get to the point where we're doing this every 2 weeks. We'll see how it goes. But our plan right now is we will be back next month with another episode of the official Infernal Legion podcast. So to all of you out there who are veterans, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for your service. Enjoy today. It was made for you after all. And to all those listening, I will be ending this show with a playing of the Armed Forces Medley as performed in 2018. So until next month, happy Veterans Day, and hail Satan.
The United States Coast Guard.
Veteran Suicide Hotline. Phone number is 1-800-273-8255. 1-800-273-TALK. And as soon as you dial that, you press number 1. Also, you can text to 838-255 for more information, but it is just as effective as chat. Support is free, confidential, and available 24/7. It is available to all servicemen and women, active and inactive, Guard or Reserve, and available to veterans' family members as well.